Welcome to Paldea. So what we have here is the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet regional map. It's a very high res image, so we are able to zoom in and have a look at all the locations in a bit more detail. And the purpose of this video is to kind of go over where the gyms might be, what those gyms could be, also discussing what we believe would happen for the treasure hunt scenario, and then also speaking to the third story scenario and where those locations might be. So I will have a chapter breakdown down below, so if you are only interested in certain things, feel free to skip around. And I'm just going to quickly start off by discussing the starter route and kind of what that looks like. So let's dive in. So what we can see here is we have the Pokemon player house, which is over here. We know this to be the player house from the trailers where we've actually seen the main character kind of walk in, even pick up their backpack, things like that. And then you've got this route here, which it goes down into the laboratory. So this laboratory, like many other games, is where we'll most likely get our Pokemon. It's either going to be Professor Sada if you're in Pokemon Scarlet, or Professor Turo if you're in Pokemon Violet. Now, I have a theory it could even be Jacques that gives us our Pokemon in this area because he is the biology professor and he does give us the Pokedex. And Turo and Sada may have places in the academy, which I will show off when we get there. So from the lab, we'll then start our journey off until I assume the Pokemon Academy. So you come up this route here. So as we go up, you will notice that there is a lighthouse over here. I will go into the lighthouse in a different section, so keep an eye out for that. But that is a very important landmark for the map. And then as we're coming up, we do have like a town here. So to kind of be like maybe like your Viridian City without the extra gym. Kind of have maybe discussions, teach you about Pokemon and everything in those regards. And then when you come up here, you've got this little gate here. Now, this gate is where in the trailer we first met Nimona and we had a Pokemon battle with her. It is also very possible that after we get our Pokemon, it kind of cutscene walks us to the gate. Hopefully that's not the case, but that is something they have done in Pokemon Sun and Moon. And then once we get through the gate, this is the main city. Now, up the top here is where the Pokemon Academy is. You can see kind of like this futuristic dome, maybe like a star astronomy tower. And then also this leaf thing. Like we did see an image of this in the trailers as well. So one's kind of like a treehouse, the other's like a scientific dome. My theory is that if you're in Pokemon Scarlet, this treehouse is where Sada will be. And if you're in Pokemon Violet, this will be Turo will be over here in the dome. Now, it is also very possible that this could be like the biology study place, like if you take that class, and then this is for astronomy. And then in the middle of the town is that big mosaic that they kind of showed in the very first trailer. You can also see that the town does have two Pokemon centers, so one over here to the right, one here on the left. This most likely is because the town is a lot bigger than it may seem in the image, big enough that there's no point having just one Pokemon center in the center. Better off to have them on either side. But yeah, that is essentially kind of what your starting route will look like. It was mentioned that it will take about 2 hours before we get Koraidon or Miraidon. So that could be this entire section we have here. And then from there, once you get kind of into the story and you're allowed to branch out into 3 different paths, you have many places you can go. So if we are taking the gym battles, we kind of have 2 ways we can go. We can either go to the left or to the right. So we'll start off by going to the right and have a look over here. Now, as we're traveling through, so this would be kind of like a mountainous region, probably get many different rock Pokemon, ground Pokemon, all that. You kind of get to this town here. Now, we know this place to be a gym town, not only because we've seen it in the trailer, but also because of this little building here. So as we go through and have a look at all the towns, you'll notice that every town that has a gym kind of has this big skyscraper building. You can see it in the image here, it has like the gym logo. So with this particular gym, given kind of where it is, the fact that there was a lot of flowers in the images, and even the little Pokeball is green, I'm going to believe that this will be the grass type gym. So grass being one of the starter gyms, at least if you go this way, kind of makes a lot of sense because if you are kind of traveling, generally you already have like a Route 1 bird by this time. So you should have something that's super effective. If you started off with Play Coco, you should have that as well. So it makes a lot of sense for the grass to kind of be the first gym, assuming you're doing the gyms first. And then after this gym, we do kind of walk around here. These flags I'll get into when we get into the third start of the story. And then we come into this town here. So this town is by the water, so you may believe that it is the water type gym. However, if you kind of have a kind of closer look at the Pokeball here, it's yellow. So my understanding is going to be whatever color that Pokeball is going to be a significant as to what the gym is. So this is most likely going to be the electric gym. Now, electric makes sense for this for a lot of different reasons. It does look futuristic. It's more modern than a lot of the other towns. Also, I mean, there's a lot of water around, so it could be like have like a hydraulic plant. That's where it makes its electricity. So it just makes a lot of sense for this to be electric as opposed to the water gym. And there is another gym later on, which will make more sense for water when I get to it. So for the right hand side, that's kind of all the gyms. Now, if we do kind of scoot over here into like this quarry area, you will notice that there is like a battling pit here. However, there is no gym tower. So that's why I believe this isn't actually a gym, but it may be a place where we do a significant battle, maybe with the quarry people, something storyline for maybe one of the other areas. If you were to go to the left, you would come to this gym here. This gym, it's kind of like in a vineyard type area. This is where you find Olive, as if you look at the trailers, it kind of has similar backgrounds. And the Pokeball here is like a light green. So this is most likely going to be the bug type gym. Again, makes sense. Bug is also weak to flying. Bug is also weak to fire. So it makes sense that these starting gyms are something that you're already going to have something super effective against. So once you come across here, you've got another branching area. We've also got these windmills that were in the first trailer as well. So they're pretty iconic. If you decide to walk down south, it does kind of look like this is like a roadblock. So there's nowhere else to go. But if we have a look over here, there is like a little cave entrance. So it is possible that we could do like an underground tunnel, go through here and then pop out here, because there isn't kind of any other way to get to this area unless you have climbing. You could probably just climb up the mountain. And in this area, you can see that there is a Pokeball here. It looks to be like a dark purple. We are aware that there's meant to be a ghost type gym leader. So given the fact of what this area kind of looks like and the fact that that's purple, I would say that this is where our ghost gym is going to be. And then if we were to go north, you have this little town here. Given that it doesn't have one of the Pokemon towers, it would be just a normal town, not a gym town. If we come across here, you have this little oasis town. So this is all like a massive desert, and then you have this place that's thriving with water. This is why I believe this town is the water gym as opposed to the other town, because this town probably has some type of story as to why the water is here, why it hasn't spread. Like there's a lot of things they can do with this little oasis town. So it makes more sense for there to be like a water specialist. And then, so once we've done with this gym, you would come all the way back over here, come around here and kind of follow this path upwards. And this is where we come to this little area here. This town's working on kind of on two levels. You've got this big observatory here, which is most likely studying the big phenomenon in the middle of the map, which we'll get into a little bit later. But they do also have one of the gym towers. Now for this area, I believe this would most likely be a psychic gym, just because given the fact that it's like cosmology, astrology, weird spirally thing in the middle, it's something like a psychic type mindset would work with. We don't really have like a technology gym, so that would make sense. You could also maybe have a steel type, but given that it's kind of like a cosmic feel, I'd say that this would be where the psychic gym will be. So we could put maybe surf into this town depending on what we have, but I actually believe the access to this entire area is going to be from the right-hand side. So as you can see here, there is a lot of mountain paths going on from this right. So even though the right doesn't have anything in terms of gyms, it does have kind of access routes. So once we get the ability to climb, not sure when that would happen. Most likely would happen maybe if we go left. It could also be tied into how many gym badges you have. However, they kind of want to gatekeep that. But yeah, you would climb up here and then you'd basically walk along these roads here and you'll get to this gym. Now this gym we have already seen in the trailer. This was going to be the ice gym. We know it's this gym because in the video as they're walking, you can kind of see the battle stadium on the left and then the big tower in the middle. So that's why this is the ice gym. After you deal with this, you walk down here and you've got another gym over here. Now, this is most likely going to be the normal gym. It kind of is the only other thing that would fit in this area, maybe a rock gym. But we had a leak of the gym leaders, and one of them's like a CEO dude. And I could see a CEO kind of living in this tower because in the background it seems kind of cold, kind of modern. So that's going to be my thought process for that. So just zooming out. So as we can see, we've got the 8 gyms. So we've got grass, electric, and then over here, bug, ghost, water, psychic, ice, and then normal. So once you collected all the gyms, you will come back to the academy because this little thing here is a cave that kind of leads into up here, which is kind of your Victory Road. And then you have kind of this big random stadium in the middle of nowhere. which has a emblem that kind of looks like terrestrialization, also a compass. So this is most likely where the Pokemon League Championship is going to be. This is where we'll play the Elite Four or fight the other champion ranks. So that is kind of the Pokemon League and the gym aspects. Now let's dive in and have a look at to what the treasure hunting could be. So as I was scrolling through the map, you may have noticed these little towers here. My belief is that these towers may be tied into the treasure hunting scenarios. We have to go and activate every tower or find out the secrets of every tower kind of to activate whatever we're doing. It's possible that they might just be kind of like landmarks like you've seen in maybe Zelda's Breath of the Wild or Assassin's Creed. So you climb up to the top of the tower and it kind of reveals the entire map. The only thing with that is like this one here has two. So I don't see how this one isn't going to be able to reveal the same as what this one does, unless it kind of reveals down here, and that's why it's there. So that's kind of my thought process at the moment. But these will be tied into the treasure hunt. And then also the lighthouses are most likely going to be tied into the treasure hunt as well. Just because like compass and nautical themes are a big thing in the lore of Paldea from what we've seen so far. So the fact that they've got a lighthouse at the north, south, east, and west means that these should have something to do with the treasure hunt. So with the lighthouses, you may also notice that they all have different colors. I do have a theory behind this. There's nothing to say that it's correct, but this is kind of what I'm thinking based off the leaks we have. So the sub-legendaries have been described to be the four perils. They are kind of the opposites of what Landorus, Tornadus, those are meant to be, because they were based off kind of like the nautical beasts in China. The lighthouse colors are kind of indicating to me what the sub-legendaries are going to be. Just because with the leaks, we do know that there is a ground dark, a fire dark, an ice dark, and a green dark Pokemon. This would be your fire one. So it's likely that perhaps in this lighthouse, they speak to that particular legendary, and that's part of the treasure hunt. And then over here, it's kind of like a dark blue, and ice you'd probably say more as light blue, but the fact that it is blue still makes that kind of idea work for me. And then you've also got like a lighter color here. It's could be seen as yellow, but to me it's more of like a light brown. So that would be your ground type. And then up here you've got green, which is grass. Now the other thing is lighthouses shine light to kind of fight back the dark. So it could be that these lighthouses have been put in place to kind of seal up and keep in bay these legendaries, which to me is a cool theme. It all kind of fits in and it kind of gives the treasure hunt sort of a purpose. So perhaps Clavel, the pretty much the guy who's in charge of the academy, wants these legendaries. He kind of wants to release them because he's the big bad. He looks like a big bad, so that makes sense to me. And he's sending us all on a treasure hunt to kind of understand what the towers mean, what the lighthouse mean, find out what the weaknesses are, and then essentially wants us to collect these sub-legendaries for him. Now, if you also look at the map, there are these waterfalls. Now, Riddler Q did also leak that waterfalls have something to do with legendaries. So it is very likely that in all of these little waterfall areas, so we've got one here, one here, one up here, and one over here, that the sub-legendaries could be in these waterfalls, and we gain access to them or we summon them once we do everything to do with the lighthouse and the towers. So that's kind of what my understanding of what everything's going on. I mean, if I guess that right, that'd be kind of amazing. But that's kind of the best way I can understand why this academy dude will send all these people on a treasure hunt. He's evil. He wants access to things. That's how that all makes sense to me. And also, if you kind of look at the areas these waterfalls are in, they also are like sub-legendary type spots. You got this here, which is kind of like maybe a groundish area. Could be fire. So like that's where you'd find one of them. Up there's definitely ice. This one over here would be kind of like a grassy area, like a grassy knoll. So that would be where that one would be. And then this one here, it's a little bit, it's ice again. So it's a little bit hard about how that one would tie in. So with the gym battles out of the way and also the treasure hunt out of the way, we've also got the third storyline, which we don't have much information about as of yet, but there has been a lot of images of the flags. Now, as I was walking around, you probably did notice that these flags are here. And then in the trailer with the flags, we had like a hot rod car pop up. So these flags are most likely the Team Rocket of the area. So we would go to these flags, most likely go into races, because we do have obviously our bike and they would have like the normal bikes, the cyclists. Perhaps they're trying to constantly race us for our pink slips, which essentially means they're trying to race us because they want our Coridon or Maridon because it's kind of a better bike than what they all have. So you've got this one here, which is red. And then over here in the grass area in the mountains, which you can only access kind of by climbing from what I can see, we've got another race. So we kind of race through this like swampy area. Over here, we've got the purple one. So there's another race over here. And then on the left-hand side, we do have this race here. So kind of the black flags. And then up here near the lighthouse, we have another race flag. So there's most likely other stuff we'll be doing with these biker gangs, is what I'm assuming they are. But there looks to be 5 main races. So Penny has kind of been speculated to be our rival for this section of the storyline, with Arvin being our rival for the treasure hunt and Nimona being our rival for the gym battles. So that's kind of all the special areas in regards to the actual storylines and what we'll be doing like game-wise. However, there is a lot of different places we can explore just outside of that. Like if you come over here, we've got this area over here, which doesn't really have anything to do in regards to story lines that I can see. There's no towers, there's no gyms, but you can come down here and kind of surf around. You could even use it to come up here and go to this area. So there might be something cool here, just post game or just other stuff in general, things to explore. And then you've also got like all of this area down here. Again, there's only a tower here, nothing big story-wise, but it could be a good place to find certain Pokemon. We've also got, along with obviously what I believe to be a legendary spot, just this entire section is a massive thing that's not tied into anything story-wise, but could have cool Pokemon, might have stuff to do with the treasure hunt. We don't know. Then you've also got all these random places you can surf. Now, some of these areas probably do have the boss battle, so maybe the boss crab is here, boss worm. Over here, you might have like the sushi master and the sushi dragon, maybe on this little island. Could also have the crab down here. Like, there's still a lot of areas in the map to explore that have nothing to do with the story, and that's really cool. Like, I could do a whole story and I still have, oh, I've got this section. So like, there's still a lot of things for us to kind of investigate, find out on our own. We do know that there is a coin Pokemon that you need to find all the coins of, so they could be spread around in all of these areas. So the map in itself is really huge. And then you've also got this big gigantic whirlpool of death in the middle of the map. So if you know anything about Pokemon lore, the Kalos region did talk about the ultimate weapon. It shot something off and it attacked another town, essentially. So it is very likely that Paldea is the town that was attacked by the gigantic ultimate weapon, which created this crater. So this crater, to me, is most likely where the paradox phenomenon is going to be. So we kind of go into the crater, and that will take us into some weird time warp thing. And then we've got the future and the past forms, and that's where a lot of that will tie in. And just looking at this crater, I can actually see that there is another waterfall here. And the fact that this waterfall may have been created through fire and explosions, that's where the fire guy is. My theory is back intact, and then that's just a random waterfall. Yeah, done it. I saved the day. But yeah, that is basically my analysis of the Paldean region. Like I said, so much to explore. And to be honest, this is probably the best region that we have so far. Obviously, in terms of scope, it's the biggest because it is meant to be open world. But just how it's designed and looks and the different biomes and things, I actually think this is going to be one of the most exciting regions that we've had. So now I've thrown it over to you. As I was scrolling through the map, is there anything else you may have noticed? Do you have any of your own theories about what the gym types can be? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you are enjoying the videos, let me know by leaving a like, and don't forget to hit subscribe so that you don't miss out on all of the new videos going forward. When we hit 500 subscribers, I am looking to release an announcement trailer for a big project I'm looking to work on. So keep an eye on that. We're like 8 subscribers away. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you kind of want to, you could be one of those 8. And to me, that's pretty exciting. But yeah, other than that, I will catch you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers!